You think your neighbor is annoying? Try living next to someone so incredibly petty that they literally bankrupt themselves over a tree or a property line. Today, we are breaking down 101 times arrogant homeowners let their egos take over, got dragged into civil court, and absolutely lost everything. The sheer amount of financial ruin in this video is dangerously entertaining. 1. A guy in Maine hated the shadow cast by his neighbor's massive oak tree, so he poisoned it with herbicide while they slept. Turns out tree law is ruthless. The judge hit him with treble damages. He owed $150,000 and lost his property entirely. 2. Imagine pouring a $70,000 concrete driveway completely on your neighbor's land just to prove a point. One arrogant homeowner refused to check the survey lines. The court forced him to rip it up with jackhammers and pay the neighbor's legal fees. Goodbye retirement fund. 3. A spite fence is one thing, but painting your side of the shared wall with glowing neon insults is next-level stupid. A Texas man tried to tank his neighbor's home value. Instead, he got sued for private nuisance, lost everything in court, and lives in an apartment now. 4. Never block an easement. A stubborn dude bought a house and welded a steel gate across the shared access road. He ignored court orders for 6 months. The judge finally held him in contempt, slapped him with daily fines, and forced the sale of his home to cover the debt. 5. This lady was so annoyed by a barking dog she bought military-grade sonic blasters to torture the neighbor. Well, she ended up deafening herself and got slapped with a massive civil lawsuit for harassment. Her wages are being garnished for the next 20 years. Pure genius. 6. Changing your landscaping to intentionally flood the yard next door is a fast track to bankruptcy. One guy paved his entire lawn to redirect rainwater straight into a neighbor's basement. The water damage lawsuit was so catastrophically expensive, the bank foreclosed on him in record time. 7. Security cameras are fine, but mounting cameras on a pole to record the pool next door is a massive privacy invasion. A judge slammed the creepy homeowner with a $500,000 judgment. He tried hiding money in crypto, but the court seized his house anyway. 8. Moving iron property stakes at night is a massive crime, but this Georgia man thought he was invisible. He stole 10 feet of land for a new shed. GPS mapping exposed the fraud instantly. He paid triple the land value in fines and handed over the keys to his house. 9. A guy got mad about a property dispute and dumped 3 tons of raw manure right on the boundary line in July. The whole neighborhood sued him for creating a biohazard. The cleanup costs and legal penalties drained his bank accounts faster than you can say fertilizer. 10. One homeowner decided his property line went halfway into the street, so he literally sawed through the neighborhood sidewalk to plant a hedge. The city sued him for destroying public infrastructure. The fines were so incredibly high, he had to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy immediately. 11. Planting invasive running bamboo to spite a neighbor sounds fun until it destroys their foundation. A guy in Oregon did exactly that. The roots shattered a concrete basement. He got hit with a $500,000 property damage lawsuit and literally had to auction his own house to pay it. 12. Flying a drone outside your neighbor's bathroom window is a fantastic way to lose your entire life savings. One creep thought he was being stealthy. Ring cameras caught him perfectly. The jury awarded massive emotional distress damages. His bank accounts were frozen and he lost his retirement fund overnight. 13. To save money, a homeowner built a 50-foot retaining wall using cheap timber instead of concrete. It collapsed instantly during a storm, burying the neighbor's brand-new luxury pool in mud. The negligence lawsuit cost him $300,000, completely wiping out his equity and forcing a short sale. 14. Stadium lights belong on a football field, not pointed directly at a neighbor's bedroom. A dude got mad over a parking spot and installed blinding industrial floods. He ignored the cease and desist letters. The judge slammed him with a private nuisance ruling that bankrupted him in attorney fees alone. 15. A grumpy dad in Chicago aimed his heavy-duty snowblower perfectly to blast ice chunks at his neighbor's expensive glass greenhouse. He thought it was hilarious until the entire structure shattered. The vandalism charges and civil lawsuit drained his college savings accounts. Actions really do have expensive consequences. 16. Throwing birdseed on your roof to attract hundreds of pigeons just to ruin the neighbor's property is incredibly petty. The massive amount of bird droppings actually ate through the neighbor's car paint. A judge ruled it an intentional nuisance. The guy went totally broke paying for the damages and legal fees. 17. Solar panels are expensive, so building a massive wooden tower just to cast a shadow on your neighbor's roof is pure evil. A guy in California did this out of pure spite. He was successfully sued for blocking solar access. The fines were so brutal his property went straight into foreclosure. 18. Never install a massive, unpainted concrete speed bump on a shared driveway just to be a jerk. A wealthy neighbor ripped the undercarriage off his vintage sports car on it. The guy who poured the concrete got sued for malicious property damage. He lost his savings and had to move away. 19. Digging a secret underground doomsday bunker is crazy. Digging it across the property line so your neighbor's patio completely caves in is a financial death sentence. The structural damage lawsuit was absolutely massive. He was forced to fill it with concrete and hand over the deed to his house to settle. 20. A guy got jealous of his neighbor's pristine golf course quality lawn, so he loaded a super soaker with industrial weed killer and sprayed it over the fence. Security cameras caught the whole thing. The cost of replacing the custom turf bankrupted him. Jealousy is a very quick way to go completely broke. 21. Rerouting your septic tank overflow pipe to drain directly into the woods behind your neighbor's house is a literal biohazard. The smell gave him away instantly. The Environmental Protection Agency got involved, and the massive federal fines absolutely crushed him. He lost his property and nearly went to jail. 22. Building a heavy metal shed directly over your neighbor's underground water meter is a terrible idea. When a pipe burst, the water company had to bulldoze the shed to reach the shutoff valve. The guy sued the city and the neighbor, lost spectacularly, and the legal fees destroyed his entire life. 23. Trying to tank your neighbor's home sale by burying empty barrels labeled with fake radioactive symbols near the property line is incredibly stupid. The buyer backed out, and the neighbor sued for tortious interference. The prankster was forced to pay the full lost house value and filed for total bankruptcy. 24. Hanging one wind chime is fine. Hanging 500 giant metal pipes right on the property line to torture your neighbor is psychological warfare. A judge ruled it a deliberate noise nuisance. The stubborn homeowner refused to take them down, stacked up daily fines, and lost his house to the county. 25. A guy in Florida decided he needed a wider driveway, so he paid a crew to pave right over 10 feet of his neighbor's front lawn while they were at work. The judge made him pay for commercial demolition and total landscape restoration. The bills were so astronomical he lost everything. 26. Setting hidden spike strips on a shared driveway just to pop your neighbor's tires is incredibly malicious. Instead, a local fire marshal's heavy-duty response vehicle rolled over them and completely destroyed its suspension. The city sued the homeowner for municipal sabotage. The legal fees and massive fines forced him into extreme poverty. 27. Hacking your neighbor's unprotected Wi-Fi is bad. Using it to run an illegal download farm so the FBI raids their house is completely unhinged. Cyber investigators traced the signal right back to the hacker next door. He faced federal charges and a civil lawsuit that entirely wiped out his net worth. 28. Sneaking over at midnight to spray paint bright pink property lines on your neighbor's actual house is a bold choice. He claimed their wall was an inch over the boundary. A surveyor proved he was entirely wrong. The vandalism and defamation lawsuit absolutely wrecked his finances for the rest of his life. 29. One spiteful woman tried to stop a neighbor's modern home addition by filing fake documents claiming the original house was a protected historic landmark. The city investigated, found the forged paperwork, and threw the book at her. She was sued for fraud and lost every penny she had ever saved. 30. Reinforcing your mailbox with solid steel is smart. Building it to intentionally destroy snowplows or your neighbor's truck is a massive liability. When the neighbor backed into it, the custom reinforced spike completely totaled the vehicle. The judge ruled it an illegal booby trap. The guy lost his shirt in court. 31. A guy in Colorado got jealous of his neighbor's mountain view and bought a 30-foot-tall inflatable gorilla just to block it. He left the loud industrial blower running day and night. The neighbors sued for a private nuisance. The daily fines were so utterly ridiculous that he had to sell his house to a cash buyer. 32. Why use a regular fence when you can dig a medieval moat? One crazy homeowner dug a massive trench right on the property line to keep the neighbors' kids out. The first heavy rain collapsed the trench, taking the neighbor's entire driveway with it. The massive lawsuit for structural failure absolutely destroyed his bank account. 33. Painting your house. A bright neon color is annoying, but covering it in highly reflective mirror paint to intentionally cook your neighbor's garden is evil. The blinding glare melted their vinyl siding and started a small fire. The judge hit the arsonist with a massive property damage ruling that wiped out his savings entirely. 34. Never try to steal a natural water source. A greedy farmer in Montana secretly dammed up a shared creek to create his own private fishing pond. It completely dried out his neighbor's agricultural land. Water rights laws are no joke. He was sued for millions in lost crop revenue and had to hand over his entire farm. 35. Trying to ruin a neighbor's open house by putting up hideous scaffolding and fake, hazardous waste signs is a terrible idea. The potential buyers fled immediately. The angry seller sued him for tortious interference with a real estate contract. He had to pay the entire lost value of the house and went bankrupt instantly. 36. Putting up a giant billboard in your own backyard just to display insulting messages about the guy next door is peak pettiness. One homeowner thought free speech would protect his massive neon sign. Instead, he got slammed with a brutal defamation and harassment lawsuit. The massive legal bills forced his home into foreclosure. 37. Breeding thousands of mosquitoes on purpose is literal biological warfare. A guy left dozens of stagnant kiddie pools along the fence line because he hated his neighbor's outdoor barbecues. The health department fined him into oblivion, and the personal injury lawsuit from mosquito bites completely ruined his entire life. 38. Pouring quick-setting concrete down a neighbor's outdoor sewer cleanout pipe just because their guests parked on the street is absolutely unhinged. The concrete destroyed the entire plumbing grid for the block. The city sued him for municipal sabotage. He lost his house and spent the next 3 years paying off the massive debt. 39. If you want to claim more land, do not forge official city surveyor documents in Photoshop. One genius tried to steal a 5-foot strip of a neighbor's yard using totally fake blueprints. The judge did not find the forgery funny at all. He was hit with massive fraud penalties that completely liquidated his retirement fund. 40. Aiming a high-powered industrial laser pointer directly at your neighbor's security cameras to blind the sensors is a federal crime if it hits an aircraft. A Florida man did exactly this, accidentally blinding a police helicopter pilot. The federal fines and subsequent neighbor's lawsuit made him homeless in record time. 41. Firing up a massive commercial-grade meat smoker right under a neighbor's open window every single night is incredibly toxic. The constant thick grease smoke completely ruined the neighbor's expensive custom furniture and permanently stained the walls. The massive property damage lawsuit was so catastrophically expensive that the pitmaster had to auction his own home. 42. Hacking into a neighbor's smart sprinkler system to make it run for 72 hours straight is not a harmless prank. The massive water bill was bad, but flooding their finished basement was worse. Cyber investigators tracked the IP address right to the guy next door. The massive restitution payments ruined him financially. 43. Building a huge, unpermitted 3-story treehouse that literally hangs over your neighbor's pool is a massive liability. When the rotting wood collapsed, it completely destroyed the expensive pool deck below. The homeowner's insurance denied the claim because it was illegal construction. He was sued into absolute poverty. 44. Trying to drive down the property value of the house next door by running an illegal junkyard on your front lawn is a really bad strategy. A guy dumped 5 wrecked cars just to annoy the neighbors. The leaking battery acid contaminated the local well water. The federal environmental fines absolutely wiped him out forever. 45. Stealing your neighbor's incredibly rare imported garden statues and trying to sell them online is a spectacular way to lose everything. The thief had no idea the heavy statues were embedded with hidden GPS trackers. Police raided his garage instantly. The grand theft charges and massive civil lawsuit completely drained his bank accounts forever. 46. Throwing hundreds of rotting dead fish onto the flat roof of your neighbor's house during a massive summer heatwave is beyond disgusting. The toxic smell seeped into the drywall and ruined the entire house. The judge ordered him to pay for a full hazardous material cleanup. The colossal bill forced him straight into bankruptcy. 47. Hacking into your neighbor's wireless Bluetooth speakers to blast heavy metal music at maximum volume at 3 in the morning is a great way to get sued. The sleep-deprived neighbor hired a tech expert who easily traced the connection. The severe harassment and cyber-stalking lawsuit drained every single penny he ever saved. 48. Erecting a gigantic amateur radio tower in your backyard without a permit is risky. Doing it so poorly that the massive steel structure crashes directly through your neighbor's roof during a windstorm is financial suicide. The immense negligence lawsuit and city fines completely wiped out his equity and forced a painful short sale. 49. Digging a deep tunnel under the shared privacy fence just to secretly steal your neighbor's expensive imported garden topsoil is absolutely pathetic. Security cameras caught the muddy thief red-handed with a wheelbarrow. He had to pay triple the cost of the stolen dirt, and the legal fees completely destroyed his bank account. 50. Never install an illegal high-voltage wire hidden in the bushes just to keep a neighbor off your grass. When a city utility worker accidentally bumped it, it completely fried the entire neighborhood's main transformer. The massive municipal lawsuit for reckless infrastructure destruction was so absolutely brutal, he lost the court case and his property. 51. A guy in Ohio hated his neighbor's pristine white vinyl siding, so he set up an automatic paintball sentry gun in his bushes. He thought the heavy rain would easily wash the bright orange paint away. It did not. The toxic paint permanently stained the entire house. The massive vandalism lawsuit and forced renovations completely drained his bank accounts. 52. Why use a rake when you can rent a Hollywood stunt fan to blow autumn leaves across the property line? This genius pointed a massive industrial wind machine at his neighbor's house, completely shattering 3 expensive picture windows and destroying the living room. The reckless endangerment lawsuit forced him straight into a brutal bankruptcy. 53. Sneaking into a neighbor's backyard to dump gallons of industrial red fabric dye into their custom outdoor waterfall is not a funny prank. The massive red wave permanently stained $50,000 worth of rare, imported white marble. Security cameras caught him laughing. The severe vandalism lawsuit was so huge, he had to sell his house. 54. Turning your suburban backyard into an illegal dirt bike track to annoy the neighbors is a guaranteed financial disaster. The constant roaring engines and flying mud completely ruined the neighbor's outdoor wedding. The noise ordinance fines and a massive civil lawsuit for intentional infliction of emotional distress wiped out his retirement fund. 55. If you are going to sneak over at night to spray weed killer on your neighbor's perfect lawn, do not write a giant curse word. A drone photographer caught the massive dead grass insult from the sky. The homeowner sued for defamation and malicious property destruction. The judge made the prankster pay for total turf replacement and legal fees. 56. Never demolish a shared concrete retaining wall just because you want a flatter yard. A homeowner in Seattle rented a backhoe and destroyed the barrier, causing his neighbor's entire backyard to slide down a muddy hill right into his own kitchen. The catastrophic structural failure lawsuit cost him over $1 million and his entire property. 57. Creating a completely fake homeowners association just to fine your neighbor for having a messy porch is insanely illegal. One guy printed official-looking letterheads and demanded thousands of dollars in fake penalties. The FBI arrested him for mail fraud and extortion. He spent years in federal prison and lost his house to pay the legal damages. 58. Siphoning electricity from the guy next door by burying a massive heavy-duty extension cord under the property line is a terrible idea. His illegal crypto mining rig pulled so much power, it literally melted the neighbor's electrical panel and started a fire. The grand theft and arson lawsuit absolutely devastated his finances for the rest of his life. 59. Using a custom drone to drop frozen dog poop onto a neighbor's solar panels is petty and extremely expensive. The heavy frozen bombs actually cracked the expensive glass equipment. The Federal Aviation Administration tracked his drone flight logs right back to his driveway. The federal fines and replacement costs totally bankrupted him in less than a month. 60. Squirt gunning industrial superglue into all of your neighbor's exterior door locks while they are on vacation is pure evil. When the family returned, they had to hire an emergency locksmith to drill out every single door. Ring doorbell footage captured the whole crime. The vandalism charges and massive civil fines forced him into a short sale. 61. Building a custom parabolic mirror in your backyard just to focus a massive death ray of sunlight onto your neighbor's plastic shed is psychotic. The intense concentrated heat literally melted a riding lawnmower and started a brush fire. The fire department investigated, and the resulting arson lawsuit completely liquidated his entire net worth. 62. Rerouting your massive diesel truck exhaust pipe to blow thick black smoke directly into your neighbor's open kitchen window is a terrible idea. The greasy soot completely ruined their brand new custom kitchen cabinets and expensive appliances. The judge hit him with a brutal private nuisance lawsuit that cost him his beloved truck and his house. 63. Renting out your neighbor's private driveway for massive stadium parking while they are out of town is incredibly bold. A guy made thousands of bucks until an angry drunk driver crashed right into the neighbor's living room. The fraud and gross negligence lawsuit was so utterly catastrophic, he had to hand over the deed to his own house to settle it. 64. Secretly releasing 10,000 live termites directly onto your neighbor's brand new luxury wooden deck right before they list the house for sale is completely unhinged. An inspector found the massive infestation immediately and tracked the source. The severe property destruction lawsuit totally bankrupted the prankster and completely ruined his life. 65. Jackhammering the public street at 2 in the morning to illegally cap off a neighbor's water supply line is beyond crazy. A guy got mad about a property line dispute and tried to dehydrate the family next door. The city hit him with massive utility sabotage charges. The incredible repair bills and legal fees completely destroyed his bank account. 66. Building a 20-foot-tall wall out of compressed, rotting garbage just to block a neighbor's patio view is a massive biohazard. The summer heat turned the trash wall into a toxic nightmare that attracted thousands of rats. The health department condemned his property, and the civil lawsuit for creating a public nuisance completely ruined him. 67. Buying illegal military-grade signal jammers to block your neighbor's internet because they play loud video games is a massive federal crime. The jammer accidentally blocked emergency communications for the local police station. The Federal Communications Commission raided his house, hit him with $100,000 fines, and ruined his life. 68. Cutting down a massive pine tree on your property is fine, unless you intentionally angle the cut so it crashes directly onto your neighbor's luxury sports car. A guy thought he could claim it was a total accident to his insurance. Investigators easily proved it was deliberate sabotage. He lost the lawsuit, his insurance, and his entire life savings. 69. Pounding fake iron property stakes 10 feet into your neighbor's yard and immediately building a heavy brick barbecue over them is a bold theft strategy. The angry neighbor simply hired a real surveyor who instantly proved the boundary fraud. The judge forced him to demolish the expensive brickwork and pay legal fees that drove him into bankruptcy. 70. Hooking your underground sprinkler system up to a massive liquid manure tank just to spray a horrible smell over the fence is absolute madness. The toxic brown sludge completely ruined a neighbor's outdoor birthday party and stained their house. The massive biological hazard lawsuit and cleanup costs wiped out his bank accounts in record time. 71. Setting up a fake toll booth on a shared private driveway just to harass your neighbor is a phenomenal way to get sued. One greedy guy bought a real parking gate and demanded $5 every time the neighbor came home. The extortion and false imprisonment lawsuit was absolutely brutal, costing him his entire life savings. 72. Sneaking over at midnight to plant fake endangered turtle eggs in your neighbor's backyard to stop their new pool construction is a massive federal crime. A wildlife agency investigated and found the plastic props from a craft store. The federal fraud charges and the neighbor's civil lawsuit pushed him straight into extreme poverty. 73. Painting a 60-foot-tall middle finger on your own roof just so the guy next door sees it on Google Earth is incredibly childish. The Homeowners Association fined him thousands of dollars, and the neighbor sued for a targeted private nuisance. He refused to paint over it, the daily fines multiplied, and the bank foreclosed on him. 74. Hacking into a neighbor's smart home system to turn their heater off during a massive blizzard is a terrifying and illegal prank. The frozen pipes burst, completely flooding the entire ground floor and causing $100,000 damages. Cyber police tracked his digital footprints instantly, and the massive lawsuit absolutely ruined him. 75. Smearing heavy bacon grease all over a neighbor's expensive vinyl siding just to attract aggressive swarms of yellow jackets is pure psychological warfare. A pest control expert easily identified the malicious grease trap. The judge ruled it an intentional and hazardous nuisance. The massive cleanup and replacement lawsuit completely liquidated his retirement fund. 76. Dumping 10,000 cheap bouncy balls over the fence right while your neighbor is using a riding lawnmower is an absolute disaster. The spinning blades launched the rubber balls like actual bullets, shattering every window on the neighbor's house and totaling their car. The extreme negligence lawsuit forced him to sell his own home to pay it off. 77. Digging a random trench at night specifically to chop through your neighbor's underground fiber optic internet cable is a huge federal offense. A guy got mad about a loud party and decided to cut the whole block off from the grid. The massive telecommunications company sued him for extreme damages, leaving him absolutely penniless. 78. Secretly replacing all the expensive custom soil in your neighbor's prize-winning vegetable garden with industrial road salt is just pure evil. The massive toxic salt dump permanently sterilized the ground so nothing would ever grow again. The agricultural damage lawsuit was incredibly expensive and completely wiped out his bank accounts. 79. Taping a sharp razor blade to a remote control car to sneakily cut down your neighbor's award-winning tulips is the dumbest crime ever. The neighbor's security camera recorded the little toy car driving straight back into the prankster's open garage. He got hit with a malicious property destruction lawsuit that cost him tens of thousands. 80. Filling your motion-activated lawn sprinklers with liquid skunk essence just to spray your neighbor's guests during an outdoor luxury wedding reception is beyond evil. The horrible smell ruined thousands of dollars in rented equipment and designer clothes. The intentional property damage and severe harassment lawsuit was so utterly massive that he had to file for total bankruptcy. 81. Calling city code enforcement 50 times with entirely fake zoning complaints just to harass the elderly couple next door is a fantastic way to lose everything. The city inspectors quickly realized the reports were completely fabricated. The criminal charges for wasting municipal resources and the civil harassment lawsuit destroyed his finances for life. 82. Building a massive wooden skateboard half-pipe exactly 1 inch from your neighbor's bedroom window is completely unhinged. The constant thudding noise shook the neighbor's walls so badly that their expensive artwork fell and shattered. A judge ruled it a malicious nuisance, forcing him to pay immense damages and demolish the entire structure. 83. Installing a completely fake plastic fire hydrant on the curb just to reserve your own personal parking spot is incredibly illegal. A real fire truck actually tried to connect to it during a neighborhood emergency. The massive city fines for obstructing emergency services and the resulting civil lawsuit cost him his beloved house and his car. 84. Renting a massive industrial excavator and recklessly driving it over the property line to accidentally crush your neighbor's parked luxury speedboat is a financial death sentence. He claimed the controls slipped, but his social media posts proved he hated the boat. The immense property destruction lawsuit was millions of dollars, completely wrecking his future. 85. Ordering 10,000 live feeder crickets online and pouring them directly into your neighbor's basement air vents is pure psychological torture. The constant deafening chirping drove the family insane, and the pest control bill was astronomical. A judge slapped him with an intentional harassment lawsuit that absolutely drained his life savings. 86. Sneaking over every single night at 2 in the morning to steal exactly 1 brick from your neighbor's custom patio is weirdly obsessive. He used the stolen bricks to build his own identical fire pit. Security cameras caught the slow-motion theft perfectly. The grand larceny charges and heavy civil fines forced him to sell his own house in shame. 87. Using an insanely long custom drill bit from an upstairs window to secretly punch holes in your neighbor's roof during a massive rainstorm is pure evil. The catastrophic water damage completely ruined their newly renovated kitchen. The neighbor hired a forensic engineer who proved exactly how it happened, leaving the prankster drowning in massive legal debt. 88. Hiring amateur actors to stage loud fake street fights on the neighbor's lawn just to tank their property value before an open house is ridiculously stupid. One of the buyers called the real police, and the terrible actors confessed instantly. The massive fraud and tortious interference lawsuit made him absolutely homeless in less than 6 months. 89. Squeezing 2 heavy tubes of industrial construction adhesive directly into the tailpipe of your neighbor's expensive sports car just because they rev the engine is incredibly costly. The intense back pressure completely destroyed the custom motor. He got caught on a dash camera, and the resulting vandalism lawsuit ensured he will be paying off the debt until the end of time. 90. Using a high-speed racing drone to drop water balloons filled with bright blue permanent paint onto your neighbor's brand new white luxury car is a terrible idea. The drone crashed right into the windshield and left his fingerprints everywhere. The judge made him pay for a completely new custom paint job, totally wiping out his college fund. 91. Changing the GPS pin on your neighbor's grocery delivery app so you can steal their expensive steaks every single week is felony theft. The delivery driver eventually recognized the guy grabbing the bags from the wrong porch. The massive criminal fines and the civil lawsuit for systemic theft left him completely broke and facing real jail time. 92. Setting up a gigantic industrial ventilation fan to intentionally blow massive clouds of fine construction dust right into your neighbor's open windows is a great way to get sued. The toxic drywall dust ruined all their expensive furniture and electronics. The severe property damage lawsuit forced him straight into a brutal Chapter 7 bankruptcy. 93. Sneaking over during a winter freeze to pump 500 gallons of fast-setting construction foam directly into a neighbor's expensive outdoor hot tub is absolute madness. The expanding foam permanently destroyed the heating mechanics and shattered the luxury acrylic shell. The massive vandalism lawsuit cost him his entire savings and his family home. 94. Printing a totally fake land survey from the internet and building a massive wooden fence straight through the middle of your neighbor's swimming pool is absolutely insane. The real city surveyors showed up with police officers to rip the fence down. The massive fraud charges and destruction of property lawsuit left him absolutely broke and begging for a loan. 95. Ripping the magnetron out of an old microwave to build a directional radiation cannon aimed at your neighbor's television satellite dish is a massive federal crime. The dangerous radiation actually burned a hole through the neighbor's roof. The Federal Communications Commission raided his house, hit him with massive fines, and completely ruined his life. 96. Deliberately running a hidden garden hose into your neighbor's underground septic tank vent to make it overflow into their yard is a horrific biohazard. The incredibly toxic sludge completely ruined a child's birthday party. The environmental cleanup fines and massive civil lawsuit absolutely wiped out his equity and forced a painful short sale. 97. Stealing a heavy package off the neighbor's porch is bad, but stealing one that contains a hidden GPS tracker placed by the police is incredibly stupid. The cops tracked the expensive stolen electronics right to his basement. The federal mail theft charges and massive legal bills completely destroyed his bank account for the rest of his life. 98. Burying a massive industrial electromagnet right on the property line to intentionally scramble your neighbor's expensive home theater system is incredibly stupid. The powerful magnetic field actually wiped the hard drives of a neighbor's home business. He was hit with a massive corporate sabotage lawsuit that completely liquidated his entire estate. 99. Hiring a shady paving company to literally pour asphalt over your neighbor's immaculate front lawn while they are away on vacation is extremely illegal. The crew realized the mistake too late, and the neighbors sued everyone involved. The judge forced the mastermind to pay for a complete commercial restoration, totally wiping him out financially forever. 100. Getting so angry about a property line dispute that you rent a massive diamond blade concrete saw to literally cut your neighbor's driveway in half is absolute madness. The extreme vibration shattered the underground gas line and caused a massive neighborhood evacuation. The city hit him with utility sabotage charges that forced him into total bankruptcy. 101. The ultimate stupid move is selling an acre of your own land to the neighbor for cash, and then immediately building a secret cabin on it, hoping they would not notice. When the neighbor found the illegal squatter house, they sued for trespassing and breach of contract. The judge awarded the neighbor the cabin for free, and the idiot lost absolutely everything. Out of all these absolute clowns, who do you think actually deserved to lose their house the most? Be honest, I bet half of you secretly agree with the guy who built that massive spite wall. Prove me wrong in the comments right now. If this video made you appreciate your own boring neighbors, hit the like button and subscribe before the guy next door cuts your Wi-Fi line.